everybody. Welcome to Meddkit's Provider Spotlight, where every week we are interviewing the most amazing private practices, health people in health and wellness. And, every week is very interesting. Someone in a whole different brand new specialty, but most importantly, we have people that are bringing all brand new different perspectives to us, which is the most important. Healthcare can be a confusing place, and we're here to debunk a lot of what is going on currently through all different specialists. So today we have a really amazing special guest for you. I'm very excited to introduce Kim Morrill. She is the CEO of Aspire Wellness Center. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, welcome. Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having me.
for joining us. I'm very excited to dive in. I know we have a lot to cover, but I would love if you could tell us maybe a little bit of your story. What landed you here to, be the CEO of Aspire Wellness Center, and what made you want to go into your specialty? So give us a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, I remember the moment I thought I was going to be a physical therapist when I was in undergrad. And I had, at the same time, I had my first abnormal psych class. And at the same time, I was doing botany. And I almost rage quit at the professor because I couldn't understand meiosis and mitosis the way he was explaining it. I was like, you are saying the same thing. I don't understand. And then going to my abnormal psych class where it just was fascinating. We're hearing about men that had been shot with a railroad track and his personality changed and like it just was so much more fascinating to me than the sciences that I thought I was good at and thought I was going to do it. So I switched to psychology. Then I went and did as a school for emotionally disturbed kids. I was a teacher's assistant, so I was thinking maybe I'll do teaching, and really just realized I didn't care whether they got the math concept. I wanted to help them regulate. I wanted to help when they were in crisis. These are uh, middle school age children. And I
Sure.
realized that that's what I was really good at, that I could help people in that way. So then I decided I was going to get a master's in social work, and that sort of um, led me down the path of I've been a therapist for about 30 years. I've done school-based and residential, foster care, which was really, really difficult for me emotionally. Those stories are really hard. And ultimately landed in outpatient mental health clinic. I do like supervising. And so I've been there for it'll be 7 years this next week. And I love it. It's owned by two women that were also therapists, and it's just such a good fit. For me, I get to see clients. I have my own caseload of about 8 to 10 clients a week. I get to supervise. I get to make big policy and procedural decisions that I like, and also have to do every single piece of paper that anybody that I supervise also has to do. So if they're complaining, I'm like, yeah, I know that's a really terrible piece of paper to do. You got to do it, just like I do. So I think that gives me a little street cred that that everybody has to do the same paperwork. And we've just grown and grown since the pandemic.
That is amazing. The people I would say that are, have your background and in your field, I feel like have a very special heart for people that are in need, that really need help navigating through life because it's not easy. We don't get by unscathed, I would say. No one does, right? Sometimes
Mm.
you just, it's harder for others. And I love what you're doing, and I love how much you've brought access and help to your community. But I would love to hear a little bit about some of the population that you do serve, and maybe some of the common or even uncommon things that you help your clients with. So something that might be a very common caseload versus something that you don't see a whole bunch, but you certainly help with it.
Mm. That's an interesting question. So we're about 65% of our population is has medical assistance. So those are working poor, usually, children. We see from 5 to over 100, or end of life kind of stuff. And then a very small percentage, like 3% are self-pay, so they just pay out of pocket. 7% are Medicare, and then the rest are private pay insurance. We see a lot of anxiety disorders, a lot of depression. It During the pandemic, people, because we were able to do telehealth, it really, really I cannot overemphasize how much it opened the doors for people to find mental health services accessible. Everybody was so alone and grieving, and just needed another human being to kind of connect with. And so telehealth was really a great option. And we've been fighting sort of politically to keep telehealth available. It's been on the chopping block a couple times, but we've been able to successfully, in Maryland anyway, get it permanently here. The exciting part for me is it's the first time we've been able to treat people with agoraphobia. That's the one where you're stuck in the house and afraid to go outside. They can't come to the clinic. They can't. They're afraid. It's
Yeah.
literally their fears. And they are some of the most amazing people. It's such an interesting population. It goes from very, very wealthy people, like you think of like Howard Hughes, who is like extremely wealthy and never left, to somebody that is barely, making has food stamps and totally isolated. So that's a population that we are able to work with, that we really haven't, except unless you did a home visit. Um, and a lot of times there's some contamination fears that they have, especially during COVID. Nobody wanted a home visit. So this was a perfect solution. So we've really increased our ability to manage some of those folks. I'm just I'm proud of, I really, really, really want our folks to go kind of above and beyond. And so um, we have a family, we see the parents and a child, and right now we're paying for their hotel room because they're homeless. And we just had to figure out what to do with their dog. And so, like, we really take care of people. We saw the need. With food stamps were drastically cut January 1st. So people that were getting you right now, if you are a single person, you get $23 in food stamps in Maryland. $23 is not enough to get anything with the prices soaring the way they are.
Yeah.
And so we created a food pantry, so that and our therapists just donate food. We'll go to their pickleball league and get hey, will you help donate food for this? And we restock it like every 6 months. We do a big sort of like food drive. Um, and that's just to help the clients. The other thing we do, which I think is amazing, this was hats off to our owners, Laurel and Jen, who were therapists before this started. So it's really nice to be sort of have my bosses and owners be therapists and not corporate America, right? So like
Yeah.
we really are in it for the clients, kind of thing. But their idea was they did a free market, and that is like a flea market, but everything is free. So clients can come and take whatever they can carry for free. And it's my favorite day. It's an exhausting day, but it is so gratifying to see the clients that really need. They don't have shoes, they don't have new clothes, they don't have food. And so we do one in April, and then one in the winter that has more like coats and hats and gloves and toys for the kiddos.
This is
So
amazing.
I
You're
don't
more
know any
than
other
an
agency that does
outpatient
that.
clinic. Like you're really a community hub for the people. And, not until you hear about these stories or really kind of see what's underneath the rug, of what is happening in our society, what's happening in different states. Yeah, $23 a month is not enough for anyone to buy anything. I can get maybe three things at the grocery store for that
Right,
right now.
right.
need
Forget about shampoo. Like shampoo is off
yeah,
the table. You got to get toilet paper, right? Like the it's not even food sometimes that you need. It is other feminine hygiene products, things like that. It's and it's about to be cut more. So we're worried. We're worried. But so we've been trying to have these other because um during the pandemic when there were um, when more people had access to medical assistance, they increased who was eligible. People got stipends. Evictions were not allowed. For our population, that was the healthiest they've been because they didn't have to work. They weren't food poor. They weren't starving, literally. Right? They weren't homeless. They domestic violence went down. Child abuse went down because the stressors went down. So we're trying to kind of fill that need with the tangible stuff to try to just everybody's stressed, and so we're just trying to bring that stress level down.
that makes a ton of sense. And also, I love what you talked about in terms of telehealth. And it's so awesome that you guys were able to bring that to the table and increase the amount of access that you've been able to provide, but also to different people. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine, having anxiety about, leaving your home and then and not being able, you need to talk about that. You need to talk there anyone we all have things that we need to talk about with folks. And I can't imagine not having access ever. Really, because that's what that almost means is not having
Hmm.
telemedicine. And then maybe there's another fear of having people coming into your home, that
Yeah,
all rightfully so. And so I think it's really great that, you guys are putting up the good fight to keep that, because you are seeing so much success, not only with the program, but you're able to give people more access, point blank.
yeah, yeah. We went from before the pandemic to seeing about 300 clients a week to now we see about 1,000 a week. And we've quadrupled the number of therapists and med providers and things, and um, it is it really is worth it. It really is an amazing
Yeah, you
thing.
can't say the need's not there, you know. Um,
Yeah,
that's amazing. I was gonna ask you, what makes Aspire's, approach different, but clearly, you guys are way different in every aspect of the way, than just an outpatient clinic. You're so much more. Um,
right. I mean, there are people that just need therapy or med
sure.
management, and that's fine. We offer,
Yeah.
we help that too. There's lots of folks that don't need the financial support, but just need good therapy and individual therapy or family
Yeah.
therapy and stuff. And that's also a big chunk of what we do.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
absolutely. In
so.
in terms of your, therapist that, I'm sure, you guys see and do a lot, but maybe you can talk a little bit about to the unique trainings and things that you do that ultimately also make you guys successful in a
Mm,
clinical setting.
mm. That is a big piece of what I love about Aspire. So, um, if we get, we do a lot of interns. We do very well with interns.
Nice.
And people are a little nervous about maybe seeing an intern, but we really vet them very well. And they have to have a little chutzpah. They have to kind of wow us. And uh, So they get very intensive supervision, 1 to 2 hours a week of individual supervision plus group supervision. If they are seeing couples, they'll get supervision for couples. Um, and uh, we do mini trainings on Wednesdays, once a month. That's like an hour that are on little different topics. Sometimes it's just writing a treatment plan, but sometimes it's like working with the trans population. How do you help them get to the getting hormone replacement therapy and things that we need to know about for our clients that if you haven't gone through it, you don't you don't have a client, you have no idea what it's like. So, right, we got to kind of like, oh, I did this. Let me show you. Mandated reporting, what we have to report and things like that. And then every Friday, the last Friday of the month, we do a 3 hour CEU, which is really intense on therapy uh, tools and techniques. So um, I did one on working with people with autism. We've done one with working with people with dissociative identity disorder, which is the old multiple personality disorders, for those of you that know that one. And um, just intense training that everybody will get ethics, supervision, how to provide good supervision, implicit bias, make sure that we are sort of recognizing our own implicit bias when working with clients of different ethnicities, races, religions, things like that. So the field requires you to do 40 CEUs, but ours are really good. Not to toot our own horn, but they're really good. We have really talented therapists, and we do a few outside, but mostly it's internal people that know what they're talking about, and we all learn from each other. We use Slack. Uh, I'm sure people know what that is, but it's just an instant message service. And if somebody, we have an emergency assistance channel, and somebody goes, "Help! I got somebody." We all just go, "Yeah, what you need? What you need? What's going on? Here's what you could say. Say this." Da 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 da. So we have a lot of people that help, and we just want to be the best at therapy, right? Like that's
Yeah.
maybe I'm a little competitive, but that's really what I want to do. I really just want to have very, very talented therapists. And so we have people with 30, 18, 12 years of experience teaching the younger therapists. So even if you do have a younger therapist, I wouldn't count them out, because one, we only do the brightest and the best. And they get very, very, very good supervision. So they know what they're talking about.
And it's rewarding, to be able to train someone else, to be able to see, how far they've come in their own journey and to develop someone really great to serve people that need the help. And so
Mm,
I think that's incredible in terms of what you guys do, and with all the different trainings and how willing you are to help one another out, which m makes a difference internally, but it shows externally as well.
mm,
Wholeheartedly, I really believe that. But something
yeah.
that I'm really curious to ask, because I think every, I would say, specialty and, person, I think has been hit with, a lot of different misconceptions in healthcare. I think every specialty maybe has their own that, maybe you've heard a lot before, but I still think there's a lot of stigma that's tied to therapy or other things, within this field. So I'd love if you maybe could include a few examples that you've maybe heard over the years, or what you've maybe been hearing recently, and what you can debunk for us, in terms of your realm. I think, everyone could use a little bit more understanding. You've given us a lot to chew on so far, but is there anything that you're like, what Google site did you pull that from? Or
Right.
did,
Yeah.
did ChatGPT tell you that?
Yes.
'Cause that's just
Yes.
delete, 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 delete.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Yes. That's funny. The Chat GPT. That does happen. Chat
Yeah,
GPT told me I shouldn't take this medicine. Well,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's good to be an informed consumer. It is very good to
Yes,
be an informed
I'm
consumer.
grateful for that. I'm glad that you're looking things up because you are invested in your health, but you can't always believe everything that you read online.
Right. Right.
Wow, like
Right. 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 So I think the biggest misconception about social workers is that we're kind of passive.
Mhm.
We are, well, tell me more about that. In that gross, uh, uh, patronizing, low tone of voice.
Yeah.
There are therapists that do a great job and do work with just receiving information. And some people really like that. We have a few that's kind of their style is to just listen. And so that is available. But I think that is not what therapy is mostly. Therapy is mostly calling you on your stuff. And everybody has stuff. I have stuff, right? Like everybody has stuff.
Stuff.
Stuff. Yeah.
Ah,
And there's no shame in having stuff. You can't go through life without having stuff. Everybody has it. And that stuff is interfering with your decision making, your problem solving, your relationships. And if you aren't aware of it,
yeah.
you just are kind of making these same mistakes over and over and over again. So it takes an outside person to look in and be like, "Hey, look at your stuff that you're doing. You're cut it out. Don't do this." Right. And so it's a lot of confronting, actually. It's gentle confrontations, so that nobody feels yelled at. I am not a spoon feed stuff. I will say it like it is, and that I am not everybody's cup of tea. And I say that up front. And more than one client has been like, it's too much. I can't. And that's okay. We have somebody else. We have 40 other therapists. We will find one that is your fit. But there are people that are like, I could be manipulative. I need somebody to calm me into my stuff. Well, come here. That's me. That's me. That's me. Right. In couples, I'm very kind of like, um, no, that was manipulative. I think that's probably because you're the child of an alcoholic, and I'm wondering if you're kind of replaying that relationship with your husband, right now, kind of thing. Um, so I also laugh a lot. There's a lot of jokes. It's not all crying and miserable and stuff like that. It really is building a relationship. It's about trust. You just learn to trust one another. Um, and that's what makes it easy to come and talk to people that you have built a relationship with, right?
I love
I hold all your secrets. I hold them. I don't tell anybody your secrets. Like, you don't need to lie to a therapist. You just tell them, just go blech. Tell them everything that's going on, every worry that you have, and they'll put it in a little package for you to help you um, manage it a little bit better.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I like looking down the barrel of truth and being told what the truth is, but I think people are here for a reason. They sought out help for a reason. They want to get better. They don't want to be stuck and, where they're at, and that's what you're providing, and you're helping them through, whatever that transition or point of life might be. Or maybe it's something they've experienced for many years since childhood, and is now finally seeking out the help that they want. And kind of on that vein of things, what do you wish people knew about seeking help? Like, where should they start? And I think now people have a good idea of what they can expect from you, but maybe you can tell me a little bit more about that first, get out the gate, and what should I do? What can I do?
Yeah. Um, I think the Psychology Today is a really good website that lets you put in what your issue is, what your insurance is, because that's the first hurdle. What is your insurance, and does the agency accept your insurance? That's the big one. So, Aspire, we do Medicaid, Medicare, Blue Cross, Aetna, Cigna, Hopkins, EHP. We do a bunch, and a self-pay option. So, but if you private practice maybe not doesn't accept as many. You want the first hurdle is the insurance. And then you can, Psychology Today does a good job of, like, you get a little picture of the person and you get a little blurb. You can also go if you know the name of the agency, like Aspire Wellness Center, you can go to Aspire Wellness Center aspirewellness.com, and see all of our therapists. And I know it sounds superficial, but seeing a picture of the person that you're going to be talking to, like you could just be like, oh, I could relate to her. Right? Like she's got gray hair, or she's cute and bubbly. I think I could pick her. And every just having an idea of like, I think I want somebody my age. I want somebody younger. I want a male, right? So like knowing kind of what you want. I want somebody Christian, right? Like all of those things are helpful to know. I want somebody LGBTQ, that kind of stuff. Good to know going in. And then that first phone call is scary. There is the nicest people on the other end. For us, it's Greg and Allie. They are the sweetest people on the planet, and will just hold your hand to be like, here's the paperwork. And if you mess up a part, they'll be like, oh, you messed up a part. Let me help you with that. And get you through. Then you go and do an intake with our lovely Kim Winship, not me, different Kim. And she's also lovely. And then you get assigned to your therapist. If you want med management, you would then get assigned to a med management. And then you're off and running. And you get to be the boss. Is it every week, every other week, once a month? How often do you want services? We also have, if you feel like you need more than just once a week, there's also intensive outpatient. We have 3 days a week where you go. That's for folks that are about to be hospitalized or discharged from the hospital psychiatrically, have some more severe psychiatric problems. And then we also have like a case management service if you are the Medicaid client that needs help with housing and food and all that stuff. We have some folks that's their job, that helps them fill out paperwork and get approved for this and gets them help to figure out doctors and things like that. But if you just are the working well, we call them, where you have a job and your mom's kind of getting on your nerves and your husband's kind of getting on your nerves, and you just need somebody to talk to that's going to not judge you and just help you. Just listen and be like, try it this way. What if you said it this way? And help you move through. It doesn't, some people don't, you don't need long-term care. Sometimes you can do it in 6 to 8 sessions. Sometimes I have clients that I've been with for 7 years, and I love them all. But sometimes they're long-term clients and sometimes they're short-term. You could do either. Either one is fine.
I think that's a really good thing to mention to people because I think maybe people feel like they get into this and then, oh, I'm gonna be this way forever and I need this forever. But sometimes you also graduate and you're like, okay, like we're good now, like
Yeah,
that, no, we're still here if you need us. But
yeah,
I think you're good, you're good now.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I love that perspective too. And I love how much you're helping people through this process, with support, and getting them started as, that can be scary as people are venturing into something maybe they've never ventured into before. And so I think that was a really great way to explain expectations and what people can, see working with you all. But Kim, this has been amazing, and I love everything that you have told us. And for the people that are going to be listening in, if you could actually just share where people can find you, whether it's your website, phone number, social media, whatever that might be, feel free to give you and your entire team all the shout outs.
Okay, we are Aspire Wellness Center. That's our name. And then aspirewellness.com, www. I don't think people even say the www anymore. Sorry. We have a Facebook, Aspire Wellness Center. Our phone number is 443-442-1568. Our website, though, lets you submit any questions that you have. Like a lot of our clients will be like, "Hey, my medicine's running out and I need an appointment," and send it, and we
Right.
respond. But we also get, I'm looking into therapy and I'm scared. Help. We get a lot of those too. And you'll get walked through. And yeah, it's a great place to work. It's a great place to, I'm just so proud of us. I think everybody's just there to help people and to be the best we can. is really, we don't really have a lot of drama. We just want to help people. It's nice.
Is pure, and I can say so true from seeing you beam over this entire interview. And I appreciate what you're doing for your community, but hope that you inspire others through, with your journey and with, your company's journey to do more and to help more people and see that, there's a really great pathway to do that. So just want to thank you for everything. And we hope to have you on again very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anytime soon.